Hello everyone, I'm going to be showing off some combos from replays, showing off the new branded cards. I'm actually redoing this video because since I did it originally, this card was added, the 3 Brave Sword Souls. This card is not in the combos, but I wanted to talk about it just very quickly. This card's just very likely not good enough for the deck. I don't see why you would play this over another copy of uh like Granguinol or whatever. Like it's not better than Omega. The second copy of Ecclesia is probably better. I go back and forth on like 2 of these or 2 of these. I'm feeling like it's gonna end up being like this by the time everything's said and done, because I end with Cartesia on the field like so often. But if you were to play this card, I'll just quickly say you could run the Magistus package as a way to get like a turn 1 payoff for it instead of relying on this thing's like turn 2 board breaker potential, where you go summon her, search Spoon, Spoon effect, get Crowley Poplar type effect, summon himself, immediately fuse. If Granguino's not on the field, you can fuse with 3 Brave Sword Souls, and you make Zorora, and then Zorora attach, and then like I think Spoon can also attach herself. Yeah, or no, it banishes itself to attach him, and then like because generally when you do this part of the combo, you've done Fallen of the White Dragon, so you're locked to level 8s. So for the invoked and Magistus monsters, you kind of have just like very limited options. Overall, I think it's not worth it. But let's get into some replays and show off the new cards. The recording messed up, so I'm just going to quickly redo this. This is new Albaz plus branded fusion. This is before I went to 50 cards, but the combo's the same. I haven't added new cards, I just added more non-engine like thrust and what have you. So, kind of familiar looking line with the Red Albion line, although we do have more errant material to use and play around with. Thanks to the new Albaz just going like kind of plus for activating itself. Also, this combo's not done, by the way. I make Secretarian here because I want to get this Ecclesia back onto the field so I could potentially Albaz them immediately on their turn in a potential world. Because even if I have, like, let's go over the board real quick. Live Mirror Jade, Secretarian, Incredible Ecclesia, Alibur, Cartesia, Quem, Set Fallen the Virtuous, Lost Active, Mercurier in hand. This beats like every deck in the game probably. Like full stop. Like this utterly destroys like whatever you're going to run into. Granguinol in the graveyard, Branded Opening in the graveyard for protection. Golden Sword Soul to reborn something. There's just, this board is so layered, so strong. Good luck beating it to literally any deck in the game. You would need like four board breakers, none of which can be evenly matched because you could easily do Sanctifier. So let's go to the next one. All right, here's the next one. So I considered getting branded in white here, but given what my hand was, I decided against it because I'm going to be using this Mercurier's fusion material, and I figure I can keep branded in red as a potential safety net for later in the combo, or just as a set during the end phase, so it just feels overall more realistic and safer. Using Super Poly instead of branded in red because I value the branded in red more. Just in general, I want to trigger branded lost here. And that'll get me to summon Quem because I have Secretarian on the field, which is the biggest part, probably. So yeah, just let's see what we got. Bishu Lebellion fusion material. This can go into many things. Can make Red Albion, who can make like Mirror Jade or whatever. Secretarian. This is a one-sided floodgate that affects many decks. Once you're happy that it's achieved its purpose, you could easily fuse this together to create something else. Granguinol, of course, also in that boat. Like you could go like Cartesia effect, fuse, Granguinol plus Albaz here, new Albaz. You make Mirror Jade or Sanctifier depending on like what your needs are. That puts Albaz into the graveyard, so you can then brand it in red and potentially do something else. Like for example, if you make Sanctifier off of these two, and then you go like branded in red, fuse with Secretarian here, and then that's Mirror Jade. And like you could do that during like the battle phase, so this can floodgate them for like the entire main phase. Then they go to battle phase or whatever, and you want to defend like these two, and they've pushed through Fallen the Virtuous, which is already sounds like kind of tough in of itself, but you could go further, and then you make Mirror Jade banish something. You probably pitch Red Albion here for follow up. Just super, super, super strong. That's not even getting into the fact that I can summon Incredible Ecclesia via the Golden Sword Soul here once Mirror Jade is summoned, because Mirror Jade will banish something, or asterisk, when Granguinol triggers, they also trigger, and then that summons her, and then she can summon OG Albaz if I get him back into rotation through any number of ways. And then it just keeps going and going and going and going. All right, next replay. All right, here's another one. Brand High Spirits, obviously super crazy, super strong. Let me get my mouse out of the way. Normal summon Quem into new Albaz is very strong because Albaz instantaneously sends a card from the extra deck to the graveyard. So if you have Quem in your hand, it's just exceptionally potent. I grab Albaz here because I want an Albaz name in rotation for what I'm doing later, because I'm grabbing branded and white. Also, it's just safer in real play, because you see I'm banishing one of my Albazes here, and I want to keep an Albaz name in rotation, whether it be on field or graveyard. Him being on the field is like not a big deal. So she can go get me another Cartesia, and she can tag out to Albaz because she also works from hand or deck. So Albaz being in my hand doesn't matter. This can get Cartesia, fuse together or whatever to make like Sanctifier or what have you. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. Like, the end board, this one uses Ecclesia the Black Dragon, so this is more of a like value engine end board, because this recurs value every single turn while also tending to perform disruption. So just overall like super potent. All right, next one. Alright, this replay and the ones after it are from like about a week later, so I've had a bit more time to actually think about the cards. This one's going to be an Albaz plus Brand High Spirits line, although it is in service of getting to the new Albaz or Cartesia to benefit off of it. I happen to have new Albaz in my hand already, which is very good. If I could redo this board, I'd put Secretarian into the EMZ, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. But yeah, just overall, like, I got a hand rip. It resets resources for me. You saw Golden Sword Soul go back to my graveyard. This can summon Albaz for me. I got Brandon Red, Forbidden Droplet. Just super powerful. Like, the end boards look like obviously pretty comparable to one another. It just depends on whether or not you're going into the Synchro line versus the more heavy Fusion line. Regardless, the end boards are incredibly hard to break through and layered. Alright, let's go to the next one. Also, I just want to ensure nobody thinks these combos are 100% optimal yet. It's more like a proof of concept and general, like, oh, you could do this, and like, oh, for this replay, I am pretending as if my opponent had done Valor or Imperm on my Aliber when I normal summoned him, and I was showing that Fallen the Virtuous can be used to pop your own Aliber to get past targeted negation and allow you to continue your plays. And not too much to say here. We got another like super powerful end board. We got Rinbrum, Secretarian for one-sided floodgating plus later material. Ecclesia to tag out to Albaz, Cartesia to fuse, Quem to reborn something, loaded graveyard. Just tons of follow-up. Alright. Let's go to the next one. Alright. Oh yeah, I think this might be the same one. Oh, nope, it's not. Just looks very similar. I see Albert plus Fallen the Virtuous and thought it was the same one. For this one, I saw I had Brandon White and I wanted to go for Mirror Jade. Something interesting is that the Golden Sword Soul actually has a good hand effect. The reason why we tended to not play the card is because getting this thing to hand tended to cost too much, and it was like not as good as Mercurier. But in this scenario, I just put him back into my hand in the same way that you could do with, like, say, Bestial Rebellion and then activate his effect to get a Bestial. Here I bounce this to my hand and I can perform his special summon. Good stuff. Not as potent of an I mean, like, you got a live Mirror Jade plus Rinbrum plus Quem with 2 sets, one of which is Super Poly. And, like, the Golden Sword Soul's not to be underestimated here. And so I'll give credit where it's due that this is still an incredibly... Even though there's only 3 monsters plus 2 Spell Trap, this is a crazy strong board. Not as strong as the other ones that I've been showing, all things considered, although this Super Poly can really get work done because Reborn, Fall of the White Dragon, he'll summon Ecclesia or whatever, wherever she is, and then she can either tag out to get normal Albaz, or you can, in the moment, let's say they're trying to do something, you can flip Super Poly, and then Albaz eat 2 guys usually, or you know, whatever, and you make like a Dogma Devouring, this is called. So yeah, good stuff. Next game. I believe this is a new replay. The times were so close. Nope. Oh yeah, it totally is. So a bit of a worse hand here. Just, you know, kind of one of those make it work scenarios. But something pretty cute I just did here. Let me whip out the log. Oh, is it? Oh, there it goes. So something a lot of people they thought this card was just okay. This card's actually really good. You're going to play one copy of it, but it's still really good. Branded Fusion for Rinbrum, sending new Albaz plus new kit is just super crazy strong because this allows you to immediately reborn new Albaz, and you can kickstart like even more plays. Super powerful. And like, yeah, I can't make the synchro here, but this is still crazy. I don't, I don't think I need to tell anyone that this end board's nuts. Um, Rinbrum Mirror Jade. No Quem on the field, unfortunately, but it's made up for the fact that I have Forbidden Droplet, Branded in Red, Fallen the Virtuous, and Branded Lost. The reason why that's so scary is because I can potentially Droplet away Mirror Jade or Rinbrum, and then I'll reborn Albaz. Even if it's just this Albaz in the graveyard, um, it can then go into summoning this Ecclesia, or this, this Golden Sword Soul can do it, and then she summons Albaz, and that creates another Mirror Jade or Dogma Devouring, spin, more banish. It just, again, just like super deceptively powerful. Also, that's my Discord, not yours. All right, next game. All right, here's another one with a pretty awkward hand, but we'll make it work. Quem plus Bestial line, but we're grabbing new Albaz because new Albaz is really good. Branded Retribution being in my hand makes this a little awkward, but we'll get there. That's okay, buddy. You can be half a Mirror Jade and stay in my graveyard. Basically like a -1 on hand size just to make it work. That Retribution could have been like literally any other card and saved me a card, basically. But overall, fine. Saying Fusion Duplication here is totally fine as well, because if I have her summon Quem in any way, Quem can then dump Branded Fusion, and then I now have a target for Fusion Duplication. So this is not a dead card, just to quickly clarify that. All right, let's go to the next game. All right, got just a few more. Quick note, I should have done that in standby, but on this client, I don't have the setting like I do on Master Duel to have it stop during like standby, but draw, standby, main, and so on. So in this client, it just goes straight to main. Unfortunate, but is what it is. Pretend I did that in, draw phase, so it plays around like Droll and what have you. Oh, here I show off how Quem can instantaneously get Cartesia if you order the chain link properly, and now we're under Cartesia protection, although that doesn't last for long considering I'm just going to use her straight away. And again, just super extremely potent end board. This is kind of the point in which I started thinking about running second Grand Guinal, or finding room for it in some way, because, like, for example, you could do Mirror Jade, banish something, Cartesia fuse with Mirror Jade, make second Grand Guignol. Quem sees thing leave the extra deck, reborns Mirror Jade. Ecclesia can summon Albaz, or you don't even have to do that immediately. This can summon Albaz for you, and then you like make Mirror Jade that way, or your second Mirror Jade that way, and get that soft once per turn reset by just playing another copy instead of bouncing the other one around once it's off the field, and then you can go into something else. And of course, we got Mercurier in hand, which is nice. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay. So I want to get to new Albaz and Branded Lost before I commit to anything big. Here I'm going to make Sanctifier instead because I want this Cartesia in Graveyard, which will proceed to get me Kit. Then I can Brandon and Wade off of this. Now I have my Mirror Jade. Grab Brandon and Red to add to an end board. Fuse with Kit. Make Rinbrum. And I'm going to bounce the Golden Sword Soul back to my hand. End phase, get all my triggers. And with 4 cards in hand. Plus full board. Sanctifier, Mirror Jade, Bestial Rebellion, that's not really doing anything other than being a guy I can fuse with. He's obviously very good material, being a light dragon, high attack point value, etc., etc. Rinbrum, very powerful. Quem, very powerful. Setting Fallen the Virtuous. I think this is the best set in the deck. If you wanted to set Branded Retribution, you run like 2 copies of it or whatever. Also valid. You want to set Brandon Red. I think that's obviously I used it to combo here, but I think that's less good in general because this provides a pop plus follow up, whereas Brandon Red's value tends to be just a hair slower, even though they are both quick play spells. Fallen the Virtuous has immediate action, so you can hit like all these like busted field spells that all immediately do something when they're activated. All right. I got one more replay, and then we'll wrap things up. Okay. Another just really good hand. Basically super mega full combo. So just making some notes here about what I'm doing. I want to make sure I activate Branded Opening last, if ever. I'm trying to save my Albaz name on the field and using other monsters as synchro material first, because this is both valuable as a non-tuner, plus it is, you know, Fallen of Albaz, so he creates all of our best fusion monsters. So as a rule of thumb, I try and use this card last when it seems appropriate. Oh, interesting thing that summoned Quem from hand for me. And make Mirror Jade to wrap up the turn. Now Mercurier is live. Ecclesia comes back, get a free copy of Quem, grab Cartesia, grab Ecclesia, set Fallen the Virtuous. You know, I mean, you must have seen me do that like eight different times in this video. Put all these girls back in my hand, and then still have like a full end board and stuff. Just crazy follow up, crazy options. Putting Golden Sword Soul back into the graveyard so it can trigger its effect, which will then summon Ecclesia. Ecclesia summon Albaz. This can also summon Albaz. Either of them. For example, this can summon new Albaz, which proceeds to summon Ecclesia. This Ecclesia will tag out, summon old Albaz. You now have new Albaz on the field for free as just like generic material plus a blocker. Overall, just like super powerful. And that's on top of the fact that Omega can hand rip them. If you see them search something important, you can just try and high roll them and screw them over. Quem, super powerful as usual. Mirror Jade, super powerful as usual. This card, just endless value. All of which is happening while Branded Lost is active, which is, you know, one of the best cards in the deck once it's fully established and you can perform all your effects. I don't even have to summon, like, for example, if I wanted to, let's say I could, I tag out Ecclesia and I get other Cartesia, just as an example. I could then like tag this out because it's a hand or graveyard, and then I could get like other Quem that way to perform her summon effect if I were to want to do that. It just goes on and on and on. There's so many layers here and so many things you can do. Just extremely versatile and powerful. The new cards are great. I expect I'll go to the deck menu and talk about it. Alright, so overall I'm like super pleased with the deck and the new cards we got. I'm feel very confident just in general. For those who play Master Duel and you're curious about Verte, we no longer play Verte. Even if this card is still legal, this no longer fits in the deck. We don't have the space for it, and new Albaz locks us out of making it, so no more Verte. This card's officially retired out of Branded, in my opinion. You should see it in no deck list going forward. We just don't have the space for it. Beyond that, this card's crazy. This card's crazy. Both of them help enable this card to make it crazy. I'm wondering if we'll get a new Ecclesia maybe after the final episode or whatever. It feels like the one monster we didn't get a retrain of that we've seen in the anime so far. We got an alternate art for Ecclesia with the anime that people memed on. Is it in this client? No, it's not. But it's from, most people know what it is. It's the anime version of this one where it's just her face and it's been redrawn a little bit to slightly match the Yu-Gi-Oh texture and art style better, but overall, like, just not a very good alt art in my opinion. It looks okay. It's just not what I would have liked for such a important character. Or maybe, like, speaking of new cards, we might get an Albaz. We didn't get an Albaz yet, and he's due to appear because that side of the story with the Despia Theater and the stuff that Maximus does is about to pop off. Which card is it? Oh, this one. Where Maximus summons the Despia Theater. And then Despia... where he summons this out of the thing and it lands in the middle of Dogmatica and messes the whole place up. And then Albaz is like there in the middle of it. So I think it would be cool if the anime ends with like Maximus doing this and we see like the Branded opening and we get like this stuff. A lot of people don't know this is actually Coertus here in like a baby Grand Guignol form while it's still like mixed up, and the Tri-Brigade are like fighting them as the Dogmatica citizens first turned into tragedies and comedies. But yeah, looking forward to the new cards. I'm sure we'll get them in Master Duel like, I don't know, half a year to a year from now probably. I'm not holding my breath of getting these things early. They're very powerful cards. As for where they will be in the metagame, assuming we follow the OCG and nothing unexpected. I'll phrase it that way. As long as nothing unexpected happens, this is going to be like a high-end tier 2 deck, maybe like the bottom of tier 1. I don't see it being the best deck. Well, I could if the other decks were nerfed, but it's still doing branded things. It's just a lot more efficient at doing them. Overall, still though, I'm happy with what the deck's doing. I look forward to the new cards. The new cards are exciting. Still doesn't solve the outlying issues with the format and the game in general. However, at least I enjoy the deck I play the most, often more. So I hope you enjoyed the video and seeing what the new cards can do. I tried to use the new Albaz as much as possible because this is certainly the most flashy new edition, where we have Griffith Albaz summoning a bunch of guys for free for us and doing a 1-card combo, which this deck didn't properly have before. A lot of our 1-card combos are actually like 1.5 or 2-card combos, like soft, where you have to like discard something, such as like the typical Branded Fusion into Libellion into Mirror Jade line. Like, yes, that's a 1-card combo, but you're discarding something for it. New Albaz summons himself, doesn't take a normal summon, pitches a card for you, which is typically one of these two, depending on like what your hand is. Will dictate which one is better for you to pitch first. Typically, you'll send both regardless. And then, like, it summons Ecclesia for you, who then summons this, and this is potential disruption as well, with a resource. Not the worst thing to draw either, but I certainly would never play more than one of this guy. Likewise, I would never play more than one Ecclesia. 2 Quem, 2 Cartesia feels very like set in stone. That's a ratio I'm super happy with. I could even see myself going to 3 Cartesia, but at the same time, I'm at a clean 50, and I feel like that 50 number is like pretty good. This card's really good. Only play 1 copy of it. This card's still really good. Only play 1 copy of it. New ratio on this, you play 2 of this and 1 of the old one. The old one, for disruption purposes, still comes up all the time. You're still playing 3 Alibur, like surprising nobody. I think everybody should be main decking Bistio Magnamut, because this is a good going second option. It helps you combo, and what's more, it can search the new Albaz, which is incredible. Or it just gets you like Bistio Libellion, who then gets you Serenir, and then you combo more that way. Mercurier still only played at 1. Tragedy still only played at 1. Gold Sark back into the deck in case you cut it at all, because now Mercurier is a much more high value target, because that can get you to new Albaz, which then proceeds to combo. Triple Tactic Stress, cool card. Gets you to various like normal spells. A lot of the best spells in the deck are normal spells, and now Branded in White is a better target than ever. Gold Sark's another really good target. Foolish Burial is another really good target, although you would probably do like one of these first between those, or you just set Fusion Duplication, 1 Retribution feels totally fine. I never felt constrained on resources, so just super happy. Super Poly, particularly good now, both as going second and going first, because you saw in that one game where I was able to set this, and now anytime I summon either Albaz, of which I can now summon 2 different ones, both of which are going to do effects when they're on the field, this one doesn't like leave the field, and he actually continues to hang out. So he's great to summon and then super poly off, and you can make like Dogma Devouring or like another Mirror Jade, or it just goes on and on and on. Just super powerful cards. This card, I think it's going to wind up being played, but not in Branded, and not in Sword Soul either. I think this is more than likely going to end up in those Synchro soup piles, where they just like ultra mega giga combo and try and like to summon like 15 extra deck monsters in their first turn and just FDK you out of the game, because they can get you into the full Magistus combo. And there are other like better fusions you can make that aren't just this level 8 guy, although he's like pretty good too. Like, this is a negate plus a pop. I'm not going to discount this guy and say he's not good. No, this guy's like perfectly good too. But that'll be it for this video. Thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day.